Welcome back to The Ed Show. Every now and then in this business, there's a story that hits me, and I just have to say a little bit more about it. A Gallup poll says Democrats aren't nearly as enthusiastic as Republicans about voting in the next election. We're talking 14 months from now, right? 45% of Democrats are more enthusiastic than usual, but 58% of Republicans are more enthusiastic than usual about voting in the 2012 election. This is the so-called enthusiasm gap, and it kind of got my attention. Now, I know it's just one poll, but if this is anywhere close to being true 14 months from now, let me just say something to my friendly liberals out there across America. We're going to get our ass kicked if we don't wake up. Take this poll as a warning and change it. Sitting on the sidelines is not an option when the other side is actively engaged. And there shouldn't be any doubt about what happens if Republicans regain power across Washington. They have not been shy about their targets, have they? The big three are at the top of the list: Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. Now, can you just imagine what we've seen in Wisconsin, what we are seeing in Ohio? What do you think it would be like if a Republican was in the White House and they had the Senate and the House? Do you think these three would be targeted at all? They'd privatize all of it. I think they'd eliminate Medicare. I know that they would go voucher system on, or they'd eliminate Medicaid. They'd go voucher system on Medicare because it's already in their proposal of the Ryan plan. And targeting Social Security? You want to talk about Wall Street getting fat pockets? This is what would help them get there. More tax cuts for the wealthy, tax hikes on the working middle class and middle class Americans. You'd get busted. Republicans, they like to call that broadening the base. Broadening the base? Let me just tell you, more tax cuts for the wealthy. They would drop it down to 25%. I bet they would drop the corporate rate, listen to me, America, down to 15%. That's the grand plan, to bring the corporate tax rate to 15%, not 25%. And, of course, tax hikes for the working class. They nail you one way or another. You can't trust them. If you think collective bargaining has been under attack lately, just wait. It's not just Wisconsin and Ohio and New Jersey and other states with Republican governors. National Republicans smell blood in the water. They see a chance to finally bust the postal workers of America by bringing about the collapse of the postal office. And the two leading candidates for the Republican nomination, Mitt Romney and Rick Perry, both say they support a national right-to-work law. Think about that for a moment. The two men who could very well be the next president of the United States want to effectively bring organized labor to an end. Now, I believe it was Karl Rove not long ago who said that's really the last line of infrastructure that the Democratic Party has, is organized labor in this country. So now the Republicans are out there saying, hell, let's get right to work in every state. I think they'd go so far as to make it a federal law. And let's not forget deregulation in the financial industry. Coddling the insurance industry, they're real good at that. Tax breaks for big oil, oil will run wild with Republicans in charge. That's the very minimum. There are Republicans in office who scream about the most basic consumer protections. These are the same people who have no problem throwing this country into unfunded wars. The recklessness of the current crop of Republicans is really nothing compared to what we get if they were to ever regain the White House. Because look at who's running. Well, let's say Christie jumps in. He'd do all of this. Let's say Sarah Palin jumps in. She'd do all of that. And you know the rest of the crowd will. They don't like Mitt because he's too moderate. So they're going to end up getting somebody really radical. So does this motivate you at all, knowing what the landscape is? Can you sit on your couch tonight and say, oh, Obama didn't do everything I wanted him to do, so I don't think it can get done? So there isn't any question about what happens if Democrats and liberals in this country don't get engaged. Now, you're on the front lines. You have to get engaged. Every family in this country that has wage earners in the household have to realize exactly what in the heck is going on, because this is a radical agenda, and that's what it's going to be like. It's going to be worse than the Bush administration, no matter who gets in there. The attack on collective bargaining is coming up in Ohio. I believe this is an opportunity for us to see how it's done. You can't tell me that 1.3 million people can sign a petition to get it on the ballot to recall a radical Senate Bill 5 law, and there not be enthusiasm. Part of me believes that, I think this is some kind of right-wing extremist movement out there trying to down-talk Democrats. Where we've been, in Portland, in Minneapolis, in Madison, in Toledo, in Columbus, we're overwhelmed with enthusiasm. So don't believe this poll, although it should be a wake-up call if it's true. We can beat these folks because they will, in my opinion, destroy this country if they get the big three back. It'll be worse than it was before. Bill O'Reilly says he doesn't want to pay his taxes because of a phony $16 muffin. He's spinning his way right into the zone. The righties always defend the rich, unless one of those rich guys tells the truth about how good millionaires and billionaires have it when it comes to taxes. Telling the truth about the super rich. Coming up, stay with us.